Honorable Speaker Lok Sabha Sri Om Birla Ji, Honorable Duarte Pacheco, President IPU, Honorable Presiding Officers of Parliaments of G20 countries, Honorable Members of Parliament of G20 countries, G20 Sherpa Sri Amitabh Khan Ji, Secretary Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India, Srimati Leena Nandan Ji. Distinguished participants and guests, Namaste. We have come to the conclusion of an engaging discussion on the idea of lifestyle for environment. It was my privilege to be part of the interactions that began with the wise words of Sri Om Birla Ji, Honorable Speaker Lok Sabha. His words highlighted the need for environmentally conscious lifestyles in the wake of climate change. I thank all the distinguished presiding officers who spoke for their valuable insights and adding unique perspectives on this subject. I also thank Mr. Amitabh Kant, the Sherpa G20, for introducing the topic of today's discussion and putting it in right perspective. I would also like to extend my appreciation to Mrs. Leena Nandan, Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India, for her interesting presentation on life and the short film, which showcased that climate action will have to be taken up with greater urgency by the parliaments, governments, business, civil society, and by the citizens. Excellencies, the concept of lifestyle for the environment was first introduced by India at COP26 in Glasgow in 2021, calling upon the global community to make life an international mass movement towards, I quote, mindful and deliberate utilization instead of mindless and destructive consumption, unquote, of our natural resources. Allow me to remind, Excellencies, that this is exactly what our father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi, had warned us a long time ago through his famous words, and I quote Mahatma Gandhi, the earth has enough resources for our need, but not for our greed. These words ring true today, where we find the world battling with the adverse implications of the climate change and environmental degradation. Excellencies, Mission Life seeks to channel the efforts of individuals and communities into a global mass movement of positive behavioral change. Mission Life is a very significant step in our long journey of sustainable living. India, under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi, who has made concerted efforts to combat the ill effects of climate change. In his words, I quote, Mission Life connects the powers of the people for the protection of this earth and teaches them to utilize it in a better way. Mission Life makes the fight against climate change democratic, in which everyone can contribute according to his or her capacity. Mission Life believes that even small efforts can have a huge impact. Mission Life inspires us to do all that can be done in our everyday life to protect environment. Mission Life believes that the environment can be protected by changing our lifestyle, unquote. Excellencies, collectively and individually, therefore, we need to be mindful of the fact that every small action counts and every individual matters in our fight against the challenges of the climate change. The Life Initiative is not confined to the boundaries of any one nation. It's a global movement, reminding us that the fate of our planet is inseparably linked to the choices we make every day. Let us be the guardians of our environment and the torchbearers of a sustainable legacy and regenerative future. Together, we can turn the tide towards a world where life thrives and our planet flourishes. Excellencies, while the executive has its task cut out for combating climate change, the role of Parliament is also central to any successful strategy to tackle it. The G20 Parliamentary Forum, uniting representatives from different parliaments, holds immense potential to deepen parliamentary cooperation to address this global issue. Together, we can shape legislative frameworks that support climate mitigation and adaptation, ensuring that our nation are on the path of a sustainable future. As Honorable Speaker Lok Sabha has already said, before Indian Parliament, through both houses, sorry, has been at the forefront of articulating the climate change concerns and also examining the shaping of energy transition, energy security, and environment friendly technology. Excellencies, in this session, I am genuinely pleased that we, as representatives of respective parliaments, would harness our collective wisdom to generate innovative ideas and strategies. Almost 15 speakers have articulated on this subject in this session. The president of IPU, Honorable Duarte Pacheco, underlined that Parliament must also focus on administrative reforms towards sustainable practices. Honorable speakers have highlighted unique ideas from their respective countries in protecting and preserving the environment. These include legislative protections, identifying the right balance of regulatory framework, protection to indigenous communities, changes in our education at primary level, among others. While the ideas expressed by speakers were distinct to their respective regions, these ideas firmly display the common resolve to preserve our environment through behavioral changes at an individual and community level. Excellencies, your valuable views and constructive suggestions given today will certainly go a long way to give a boost to the global movements of sustainable lifestyles and sustainable ecosystems. We also discussed and shared knowledge about individual and community level actions and global best practices that could help combat climate change. At the end, I would like to reiterate my sincere gratitude to each of you. I thank you for your enthusiastic participation and constructive approach shown here. Jai Hind. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
आप